Look at your neighbor and say, I'm ready to recover. I wish you'd talk to him a little bit more. Tell him I'm ready to recover. I'm ready for my daddy, my mama, my sister, my brother. I'm ready for all my cousins to get in line with the word of the Lord. For yes, the devil tried to take them out, but God said, this is my season of recovery. Look at your neighbor and say, you're in your season of recovery. And that's why the devil before today tried to smother your praise, Sister Linda, because the devil said, if I can just get them from getting to the house of God, I know they won't hear a word from the Lord. But look at your neighbor and said, something pulled me. It was the power of God said, listen, you got to get to the valley, because in the valley there is the blessings of the Lord. In the valley you see miracles on top of miracles. In the valley, somebody say in the valley. In the valley is where dead stuff is. But when we call on the name of the Lord and begin to prophesy, in our valley life comes. Look at your neighbor and say life comes. Look at me again and say life comes. I wish I got somebody that's ready to speak Zoe into the airway and begin to watch things come into manifestation. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm ready now. Tell me again, I'm ready now. Look at your neighbor and say, it's time to speak Zoe. I wish you would talk to him. Tell him it's time to speak Zoe. Well, what do you mean every dead situation? Everything that don't have no eyesight. Look at your neighbor and say, it's time to speak Zoe. I wish I had some people that feel like God's about to create some stuff. Look at your neighbor and tell him God is about to create some stuff. Look at him one more time and say, God is about to create some stuff. Well, he cannot create something if there is already something there. But how many of you are at a place called nothingness and you need the power of God to come in and begin to speak and allow the creativeness of God to begin to move in your situation? Look at your neighbor and say, I'm in a place of voidness and I need the Lord to speak into my life. Look at somebody else and say, I'm in a place of blindness and I need the Lord to speak to me. Look at your neighbor and say, speak, Lord. Have a seat for a moment as we begin to see the Lord is talking. But when before he talks, you got to understand the power of your praise. Look at your neighbor and say, understand the power of your praise. See, your power of your praise will not cause Jesus to stop while he's going to somebody else. Your power will cause Jesus to stand still and to say, wait a minute, I heard something. And even though the multitude and the noise is great, I don't believe me, but Jesus would stand still when the need is so great. That's why it doesn't matter who's around you. If you got enough strength to cry, he will stand still. Look at your neighbor and say, he will stand still. You don't believe me, but let's look at the woman with the issue of blood. The woman with the issue was in the midst of a lot of people, but Jesus, when he felt the virtue leave out of him, he stood still and said, somebody touch me. What you're saying, apostle, I'm saying right now that your praise today has caused Jesus to stand still and say, somebody touch me. Your praise today caused Jesus to stand still and said, bring him to me. Look at your neighbor and say, take me to him. Oh, y'all don't believe me right now, but look at your neighbor and say, take me to him. Yes, because Jesus stood still and said, wait a minute, in the midst of everybody, in the midst of this great multitude, there is a blind man that is standing, and he's saying and he's calling on me. That's why Zion, in the next 7 days, because of our praise, Jesus is going to cause time to stand still so that he can manifest his glory. Oh, believers want to know what you got need of. I know you want to be so religious and say he already know, but let him ask again. Lord, I need you to move in my family. Lord, I need you to move in my body. Lord, I need you to save my daddy. Lord, I need you to scatter my enemies. I wish I had a witness up in here.